Good afternoon, everyone. Happy October 13th, Wednesday. Um, and I'm Chris Rhoads, your neuropsychologist at Harborview Medical Center, who is your grateful co participant and facilitator of another mindfulness meditation session uh, completed in partnership with the Fry Art Museum. And appreciate you taking the time out to practice this today, or whatever time you may come across this at a later time. And as we continue to offer a live virtual series of sessions with the hope of getting back to in person before too long, and things are certainly looking better than they were even a few weeks ago. Um, I thought we would complete our series of three of the main aspects of the moment that one could focus on, again, in our efforts to cultivate mindful attention. So we have done some work on the body and the world. And today I thought we would do a focus session on cultivating mindful attention of the mind or the internal experience. And this often can be a little bit more challenging. So if that is true for you, um, doing your best to treat this with a sense of gentle curiosity and self compassion. Um, and if it's easy for you, that's great too. So, again, our approach here is not with any kind of attachment to outcomes or process, but just practice of paying attention. So, for this particular practice, as with all of ours, I will invite you to get comfortable wherever you are, and however you are. I will also encourage you, if it's safe and appropriate to do so, to keep your eyes closed for this practice, just so we can really decrease how much external input we are processing and contending with and drawing our resources more inward. If you choose to keep your eyes open, allowing them to focus on an area without a lot of visual input, as we begin to bring our attention into this present moment, the here and now, moving away from the then and there. So, no other task or activity other than spending these next few moments in these moments, dropping off from what came before, suspending any sense of trying to ascertain or appraise what may come next, just focusing on the here and now. Gradually bringing your attention to your breathing. Sensations of air entering and leaving the body. Whatever you may notice. And as you do that, gently allowing your breathing to become ever so slightly deeper. Relaxing the abdomen, the stomach. Developing a nice, relaxed pattern of inhales and exhales. And not struggling to take deep breaths, as if the breath is overly deep, that can actually create a slightly increased sense of anxiety as we blow off carbon dioxide. But just a relaxed, even pattern of inhales and exhales. Also noticing other parts of the body that may be tense or tight, and allowing those to relax. be fully at rest. Particular areas of interest may be the neck or the shoulders, the jaw, the eyes and the eyelids gently falling together, not pressed or clenched. As you do that, you may become aware of sounds, sensations, just noticing those before gently redirecting back to your breathing for a few moments. And now, for this practice, gently turning your attention to all of the content of the mind, all of our thoughts, judgments, appraisals, labels that we assign to things, all occurring moment to moment. Maybe particular stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves or the world or others or things in general. It may be evaluation of this present moment or our current experience, noticing how we feel, perhaps how we think about things. Could be random thoughts that have no clear connection to this present moment, kind of like a stream of consciousness. And just spending a few moments noticing your thoughts and appreciating them for just that, just thinking. Certain topics may rise and fall away. There may be persistent thoughts or worries about something. Just noticing these. No need to wrestle with them or change them. Just sitting with them, acknowledging their presence as internal experiences that may or may not be under your control, may or may not have anything to do with this present moment. Just products of the brain and the mind. And each time your mind gets caught up by sounds or sensations, some other aspect of the moment other than your thoughts, and just noticing those, and without any judgment or self-criticism, gently redirecting your attention back to your thinking. You may notice as you do this the divide between thoughts and reality. And just because you think something doesn't necessarily make it so. You may also notice as you cultivate some awareness of your thoughts and thought patterns that their speed may change over time. Maybe a torrent of different thoughts all competing for space versus just a few that emerge slowly and pass by slowly. Whatever you may notice. You may notice also a tendency to have reactions to thoughts, perhaps criticisms of things that you feel you should or shouldn't be thinking of, and perhaps just approaching that with a sense of, isn't that interesting? I'm thinking of that again. But again, without any self criticism or judgment, just curiosity before identifying that in and of itself as more thinking. Gently returning to that position of observer. You may also experiment with cultivating that sense of being a detached observer, perhaps by imagining yourself sitting next to a stream, and that stream is all of the content of the mind, those thoughts, judgments, appraisals passing by. Or alternatively, imagining as if you were lying in a field, and thoughts may pass overhead like clouds. There may be many, there may be few. They may pass at different speeds, but just noticing without having to redirect or shape or change. And throughout this practice, you may also notice other aspects of your internal experience or the mind, which could be emotions or feelings that rise or are present. They may be positive. They may be those of distress. And again, doing your best to just observe these without any value judgments or need to change them or fix them, and just sitting with them in this moment. As you engage with this practice, you may also notice how thoughts and feelings, those internal aspects of our experience, interact with each other. That the things we think can shape how we feel, and vice versa. And that these events co-occur with all the other aspects of the moment. And sensations in the body, air flowing in and out, sounds in the outside world. Varyingly aware of these things, including our thoughts and feelings at times. And just returning attention to them. And you may notice other types of thoughts that emerge over time, different stories that we tell ourselves, perhaps even thinking about our own thinking, all up for observation without necessarily evaluating or passing any judgment, just noticing. And now, at this point in our practice, shifting our attention back to other aspects of the outside world, the things we may feel, to our feet on the floor, clothing touching the body, but not a part of it necessarily. Sounds occurring slightly further out, or perhaps even further away. And returning your attention to sensation of air entering and leaving the body. And you may notice a cool sensation as you breathe in, a warmer sensation as you breathe out. Perhaps noticing where the body is grounded and rooted and feels stable as you breathe in and out. breath to breath, moment to moment. Remaining sitting in this moment for a few moments longer. You may notice the stillness, a sense of being calmer or centered, perhaps differences from having been in the doing mode prior to this practice versus having spent some time in the being mode during it, which may or may not change the flow or activity of your thoughts or other internal experiences. Fine if it doesn't. But just sitting with whatever sensations are present. When you are ready, but not until you're ready, allowing your eyes to open. And as this practice comes to a close, I am reflecting on it was a challenging one for me. It may or may not have been for you, but important to experience those challenges and stick with the practice despite it being difficult at times or often. And as always, taking with you my appreciation for getting to spend these last several moments with you, and my hopes of seeing you in person someday and practicing this in person together. I will encourage you to take good care for the rest of the day and recall the saying that as long as you're on this side of the ground and breathing in and out, there's more right with you than wrong. Moving on with your day. Thanks.